Hello, everyone at IGEL Fridays. My name is Carl Gersh, and I am the VP of Marketing here in North America. First, I want to thank James Dunn for inviting me to chat with you today about, rubbish. I'm not sure why, when thinking of rubbish, James immediately thought of me, but I'm glad to engage in a little technology trash talk and share some information about this issue. Humankind's insatiable demand for electronic devices is creating the world's fastest growing waste stream. Some forms are growing exponentially. The United Nations calls it a tsunami of e-waste. How much e-waste? Let's take a look at some numbers. How about 50 million tons of e-waste? That's the equivalent of 125,000 jumbo jets, which is more jumbo jets than commercial aircraft ever created. It would take Heathrow Airport up to 6 months, day in, day out, to clear that many aircraft from its runway. It's the equivalent of almost 4,500 Eiffel Towers. I mean, if you were to jam them side by side, they would cover an area the size of Manhattan. And when we look at the future of e-waste, we see that it is going to grow from 52 million tons in 2021 to over 120 million tons by 2050. They're estimating by 2060 overall consumption of materials across all sectors set to double. And bring it down to the device level. Do you know it takes 500 pounds of fossil fuels, 50 pounds of chemicals, and 1.5 tons of water to produce? That's right, a single PC. Now, businesses are reliant on technology upgrades to ensure they are performing. Year after year, major corporations around the globe must update their technology to stay competitive, effective, and efficient. This constant upgrading is necessary, but it's creating the undesirable outcome as devices become redundant quickly and disposed. At IGEL, our vision is to transform the way the world works, creating better outcomes for people, organizations, and our planet. Earlier this summer, in honor of Earth Day 2021, we created the following video that explores the challenges of e-waste and how IGEL technology can help make a difference. Let's take a look.
Every time an operating system is updated, it seems the hardware needs upgrading too. The new OS has features the old desktop hardware can't handle. The chips are too slow, the storage too small, the circuitry can't keep up. It's always the same, the 3-year PC refresh cycle. In with the new, out with the old. And then it becomes e-waste. Each year, the world throws away more of it. Last year alone, over 50 million metric tons. New computers can improve employee experience and productivity, but the amount of hardware that is discarded is overwhelming our capacity to recycle and dispose of it safely. What if we didn't have to replace it all so often? What if there was an operating system that somehow brought all of that office hardware back from the dead? This idea is a reality with IGEL OS, an operating system that can be installed on older PCs, laptops, and thin client devices, bringing them back to productive life and securely connecting them to cloud-delivered applications and resources. A company that extends the use of their computer hardware an additional 2 to 3 years can realize significant CapEx savings. IGEL OS is not only good business, it's good for the environment. For every 1,000 repurposed IGEL devices reused for another 2 years, annual greenhouse gas emissions are reduced by 40%. That's equivalent to cutting driving by 38,000 miles. The environmental impact of the tech we use is significant, but we can minimize it by repurposing old hardware and reducing e-waste. And then less of the planet's resources, including tons of water, chemicals, and heavy metals, are needed to build new gear. So if big tech is telling you it's time to buy new hardware, think again. Think about how repurposing those devices can enable a greener and more cost-effective endpoint strategy. 50 years ago, a familiar slogan of the Earth Day movement was born. The 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. IGEL can help reduce and reuse. And when it's time to dispose of your computer hardware, please recycle. At IGEL, our vision is to transform the way the world works, creating better outcomes for people, organizations, and the planet.
So clearly, this is a big issue with potentially dire outcomes if we don't do something about it. So let's talk about 4 things we can do today to help combat this tsunami of e-waste. All right, so first, we can shift compute power to carbon neutral cloud environments. Environments like Azure, which have pledged 100% renewable energy by 2025. Virtual desktops consolidate end-user computing resources into shared infrastructure that is easy to power sustainably. Number 2, we can extend the lifespan of existing endpoint devices. Extending the useful life of PCs by converting them to IGEL OS unlocks more value from the same manufacturing footprint. Even doing this at one medium-sized business can make a significant impact. If we look at 1,000 laptops and add 2 additional years of service to those, we get a 40% reduction in annual embodied emissions. 3, we can make sustainability a key device buying criteria. When PCs do eventually need to be replaced, IGEL makes it possible to use endpoints with a much smaller environmental footprint. They use 77% less electricity, they use up to 80% less hardware, and oftentimes they're manufactured with up to 98% recyclable materials. And last, culturally, we can enable and promote remote work to reduce emissions. Along with increasing employee satisfaction and productivity, working from home options reduce carbon emissions by decreasing the number of daily commuters on the road. And IGEL makes that remote work simpler and more secure. You can use things like the UD Pocket to allow employees to BYOD. And administrators can manage those endpoints and support the users remotely using IGEL's Universal Management Suite. So we got some ideas in place. I want to thank you for your time today. I'm looking forward to meeting with you in person as restrictions lift, and all of us going out and having a pint. My friend James Dunn. Cheers.